This is Get Informed with Wajeeh. I'm Wajeeh Lion. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a special one for you today where we will start with the belated Juneteenth, where we have to get some honor and recognition to U.S. soldiers who have served this country at some of its hardest times when these soldiers did not have their basic rights. You don't know what I'm talking about? Don't worry, I will be happy to help. No episode, United States, downloads, setting. Okay, I apologize for the delay. News, news, world, education, news. You gotta fix some of the stuff before we continue. News, politics, religion, lifestyle, culture, documentary. Okay, let's do this. We have politics and we have science, religion. No, we have to fix something for this podcast real quick. They're asking me to fix the like culture, philosophy, culture, relationship, society, and culture. Okay. English, save. Anyways, I'll figure it out later. Sorry so much for holding you back. I appreciate everyone's patience. And let's talk about Juneteenth. And during World War One, I believe U.S. Soldiers were asked for the first time in U.S. history when the United States still did not have a military infrastructure, did not have a full military, did not have a production for their military, they had to start from scratch. So they created the military and started asking people to serve, and serving was something new to U.S. citizens. Nevertheless, to the African American community or the Black community in the United States, uh, so there was, a few public figures from the Black community that have advocated for African Americans to fight during this World War One, and out of that came the 369, 369th Regiment, known as the Hellfighters from Harlem, nicknamed by the German. And their slogan for the slogan for the 369 was "Let's go, goddammit!" And that was their slogan, basically saying that they have to get going because they don't only carry the weight of their nation, but they carry the weight of every black man and black woman in the United States, believing that they are fighting, yes, for the French, but really they are fighting for the honor of their community and the right of their own people, believing that when they come back home, they will be welcomed as heroes and will be welcomed for their work. So they showed up. They got enlisted. They went to training, and they thought they would be going to New York. Instead, they were sent to Jim Crow country, where at that time it was known to be deadly for black. Well, their leader believed that they can serve and they can get trained and they can do some of the hardest tasks anyone can do. So, U.S. military didn't want them to get activated, and they just wanted them to stay there until the French started begging for more soldiers to come to the battlefield and serve, and needed more help. So the U.S. government decided to deploy these soldiers, not as soldiers, but as workers. These soldiers were sent inside of France to dig railways, and build things rather than fight a glorious war that they thought they were going to go and fight. It took a little longer until the French got a little more desperate. They came to the United States and begged the United States to send them more soldiers to fight on the front line. So, thinking that they are just, giving the French what they need, they decided to give them the 369th Regiment as a way to get rid of them in one way, and another believing they won't survive, and another way, fulfilling the French demands. The French welcomed the fighters, hell fighters from Harlem. They gave them new equipment. They gave them French equipment. They gave them French food. They even gave them French wine. They ate together, they worked together, and they were treated as equal for the first time in their lives. To the point that the US president wrote a memorandum to the French government asking the French to quit treating these black soldiers as regular soldiers, saying that he doesn't want them to get used to this nice, cute, pampered treatment. So when they come back home, they're not surprised by this real racism that we have in our country. Yet, these soldiers from hell showed the Germans what it really means to fight the American forces. In fact, they were known as the most important regiment in all of World War One. These soldiers never gave up, never stopped. and never backed down. One night, and it was something that happened on a regular basis, there will be night raids where soldiers sneak in the middle of the night, going from trench to trench, trying to kill either Germans or the French. It depends on which side you were. Henry Johnson once was in a trench when the Germans were doing a night raid where was 24 German soldiers coming to kill him. Took his gun, tried to shoot it. It was jammed. He used the pistol as a weapon, and as he finished using the pistol as a weapon, pulled out the knife, and as an action movie figure, slashing through his enemies, barging it into the skull of one of them and killing the rest of the 24 German soldiers. At that point, Americans have been thinking of black American soldiers as a joke, with no much respect or no regard, believing that they can't hold themselves in the battlefield. One time, a few days after that incident happened, American journalists were coming to their camp. They were asking if there was any interesting stories. Henry Johnson's story became a sensation among the American people within days. Black man from Harlem who killed 24 Germans single-handedly, hand-to-hand combat. Henry didn't stop there and continued fighting this war. In 2015, I believe, President Obama gave him the most highest award you can get in the military, the Presidential Medal of Honor, to Johnson. He didn't stop, his family's service didn't stop there. His kids and grandkids also served. His son served in World War II as an Air Force pilot, and his kids and family lineage continue to serve in the U.S. military. The sad reality is these soldiers, after they became heroic on the battlefield, fighting for the American democratic dream that hasn't existed yet for the black community in the United States, where they're still segregated. They returned back home wearing their uniform, proud and happy to have been victorious, only to be chased, attacked, and even hung by their fellow American citizens just because they were black men in suits and uniform. Our history is deep, our communities are diverse, and the pain in our culture is even deeper. We have instituted race, ethnicity to be part of every decision making in our government. There is no institute you go to, private or public, where you fill in a paperwork without you being asked what race or ethnicity you are. We use it on our demographics, we use it in our studies, we use it in planning our cities, we use it in writing our laws, and yet it is the last thing that we want to discuss. I'm not asking to have a culture war. All I'm asking for is to have a dialogue. Cultures are meant to merge. In fact, in the Quran it says, وَمَا جَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ إِلَّا لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. And we have created you tribes and ethnic groups only to get to know each other. The closest of you to me is the kindest. I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a practicing Muslim, but there's some wisdom in these words. Humans, for hundreds of years and centuries, all they know is migration. It is the most natural thing humans have done since they have been on this planet. You don't like what it's like here? Move somewhere else. United States is rich in its culture, is rich is in its ethnic background, and unfortunately, we don't take advantage of that. We talk about the idealism of living one next to another. We talk about being in melting pot, but we are in reality a salad bowl. We self isolate, self segregate, and economically encourage that from all across the board. Soldiers like Henry Johnson, Sergeant Henry Johnson, remind us of the bigger picture, remind us of the importance of servitude for your nation and being leaders without having to wait for someone else to ask us to step up to the plate. Prophet Muhammad says, Sayyidul Qawmi Khadimuhum. The leader of the people is their servant. We have changed that meaning recently in these days, where our leaders expect to be served by us. The equation needs to change. The perspective needs to be updated, and our understanding of our culture needs to be changed as well. Let's head to the questions. I just wonder, giving Iran's religious belief, do you believe that they would actually use nuclear weapons? I remember you telling us they had a fatwa against it. How would bombing a nation fit into their need to get to heaven? I don't think reaching a nuclear weapon is meant to be used as a weapon. If you look at all the nations that have achieved the ability to use a nuclear bomb, out of all of them, only one country used nuclear weapons twice, and it's the United States of America. The whole idea of achieving mutual assured destruction is the deterrence of attacks from other nations. So when Iran is trying to achieve their capability of having a nuclear weapon, I said this before, they can't just get one bomb and call it done. That doesn't give them the ability to have mutual assured destruction in game theory. In game theory, you need multiple heads of nuclear weapons and a way to deliver these nuclear weapons through uh, missiles. And if you can't have the right detonator with the correct percentage of uranium, with the correct delivery method, and have them all being able to work together simultaneously, and not have one of those rockets, have maybe five of them. Why do you need five of them? Because as soon as you shoot one in terms of testing one, and as soon as that thing works, if Israel shoots a one, knowing that you only had one, you're done in terms of game theory. But if Israel knows that Iran shot one in terms of testing it, but they have another four, if Israel shoots any, they can shoot back. Game theory. It's all about perspective. It's all about how you play the game. It's people's lives on the line. But yes, they do have a fatwa saying that they're not meant to use a nuclear bomb. And using nuclear bomb on Israel actually sounds really bad, even for the Iranians, because they would be killing a whole bunch of Palestinians for no reason. They would be destroying the whole area of Jerusalem for the third holiest mosque. So it's also not realistic even on a religious perspective. It is good to have it as a military tactic and a deterrent. Okay, thank you, Teresa. Um, I will send that screenshot to Malcolm. Let's see if you guys have any other questions for me. Let's click on here. Someone says, "It's all stupid game." It is a stupid game, but this is how we ended World War II. The way we end, not World War II, sorry. This is how we ended the Cold War. The way we ended the Cold War is the Americans and the Russians had to sit down and come to an agreement that the Americans will allow Russian spies to spy on American nuclear weapons to make sure that America doesn't have any additional advantage against the Russians. And the Russians gave permissions to the Americans that the Russians to spy on the Russians to make sure that the Russians don't have a nuclear advantage over the Americans. Because the game theory tells us if one party has a nuclear advantage over the other, the country with the least advantage is most likely to attack first, believing that they will be attacked by the other nation, from my understanding. So what ends up happening is that you want to make sure that everyone meets the same equal type of advantage, giving them both an equal chance, which put them at an equilibrium, which makes it really hard for either side to attack knowing that they will be destroyed for that attack. So that's how we reach that. Try treaty perhaps, Wajeeh, but the Felmore games speak to this. The only way to win or beat this game is not by play. Power told is power lost. Interesting comment. I like it. The agreement between the US and USSR was actually a real amazing thing that kind of ended a pattern of major power hot wars, at least in the 20th century. Yes, but it also happened because we knew and understood game theory and knew and understood that if both sides have the same equilibrium of power, then neither side will hit each other first. Let's see here. What is Israeli public level of support for attacks on Lebanon and the Iranian conflict? Initially, it looks like they support it. Do they still support aggressive actions against Lebanon? Unfortunately, the polls in Israel show that 90% of Israelis believe that they lost this war, and more than 90% of Israelis believe no, and also another 80 to 90% of Israelis believe that Iran is at a better advantage than the United States, and that the United States, wait, that the Iran is at a better advantage than the United States and Israel, and that Israel is not safer now than before the war. Many of them want Netanyahu to have an ultimate defeat of the Iranian government, which they still haven't seen. Polymarket recently came out and said that they expect that Netanyahu government will fall apart soon. It's a parliamentary government. That means that if you have a divided government without a coalition, you will lose that coalition and you will lose your spot as the prime minister. And it seems like that it is not looking good for him. You missed today's warcast. You hope it gets posted soon. Let me see if it's out and about. So the United States is still the same negative economic situation regarding upcoming shortages. The shortages are still, I mean, there is some economic relief now that ships are passing the Strait of Hormuz, but it's not 300 ships, it's 30 ships. So it's like 100% less, right? Yeah, not 100% less. It's 10%, my stupid ass. We will post the workouts as soon as it's out. How long a fatwa stays in effect? It stays in effect until someone else brings a different fatwa. And fatwas changes from a clerk to clerk, from from a sect to sect. If you're Shia or Sunni, the fatwa changes. You follow your own religious clerks usually. Each government usually has their governmental, of mufti, and the mufti usually that is appointed by the government is usually pro-government. 10% of normal traffic or 90% less. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh my God. When you wake up at 6 a.m. and still haven't had breakfast. Although, man, Trump is fucking up this shit. Looks like our episode is out, actually. No, it's not out yet. Do I take days off from this work? No. I don't give myself an option whether I do this or not. Because if I do, then it never happens. But this is something that needs to happen on a regular basis. It is important to cover this war. It's important to give education, even if you know, always learning something new, always trying to figure out what's happening, and I try to make it fun. So if I'm not like necessarily writing or reading, I try to watch like documentaries about what's going on, and I try to, enjoy these documentaries or enjoy these analysis by other people, and it kind of gives me an entertaining way of learning about other things that when I'm feeling a little lazier of reading a book or reading a writing or reading another article or whatever. I make it entertaining for me to learn something new. That's the only way I can keep doing this without, and I enjoy answering questions. I enjoy bridging cultures. I enjoy solving problems. It is my way of giving back. And hopefully it is the way that we end a lot of misunderstandings. I just received an email about the design for my t-shirt. I gave them so many instructions about or feedback about the previous one. They didn't implement anything other than the color. I told you I want diversity. I told you I want a different. I don't know, I'm kind of disappointed. I'll have to give them a. My mood changed quickly after I received this. I asked for a cohesive message. I asked for a story. Let's see if there's other questions. Waji, does Israel have nukes? It is a well kept secret, a well known secret. Israel has nukes, and it is also a public secret that Saudi Arabia might have nukes. Where are we at with Section 219? How can we go forward with 219 if Israel is not on board with the United States in the Middle East? That's a good question. I need to look up the latest updates about 219 and write an updated article about that. Maybe that's something I could write about today. When do you start classes? I think September. I start classes in September. Orientation is in August, so we'll see. I'm excited. Product address on the back or something? What do you mean about the product address on the back? I could definitely see about getting you guys a V-neck for ladies or girls. And I could definitely see about getting my logo straight up on a t-shirt. Um, but yeah, definitely will. We're working on those. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but we're working on merch. We're working on getting guys speakers, working on getting guys training. We are also doing articles on a regular basis. We're only a team of 2 to 3 people, but we're working really hard on getting all that shit done for you guys. So we do appreciate your support. Your support goes a long way. It helps funds our operation. It helps fund our work, and it means a lot that you guys are interested in all of that. I don't know about the address at the moment. We don't have an address for the podcast, but maybe we could like put the Wajeeh Lion podcast or something. I thought we have t-shirts made out of cotton. I don't know if we have t-shirts made out of thin cotton, but I'll talk to the production team with the bonfire. Also, I don't know if you guys know, we get way better deals and we get way better products if we achieve 10,000 subscribers on YouTube and 10,000 subscribers any 10,000 subscribers on any of my platform. All of a sudden they give me more different wide variety of products to be able to offer. So your support to the channel gives me more products to give you guys. So just to let you guys know, I've been trying to get you more wide variety of product, and the communication has been saying that like you need more followers or you need more subscribers to give you that. So your support makes that happen. And I do appreciate your support. If you cannot afford becoming a paid subscriber, let me put a thread here. One second. Go here. Payments. I have discounts. Manage. 20. No. Free trial for all. Um. All right. So I posted a thread on my channel's chat. If you can't afford becoming a paid subscriber, go ahead and click on that link. It should give you 6 months free paid subscription on the house. If it doesn't work, write something in that thread, and I will give you something on the house. Okay? So if you can't afford it, don't worry about it. If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a supporter. It's only $5 a month or $35 a year. And currently, there is a 20% discount on all of my memberships, uh, going all the way till July 15th. And that also applies for my VIP membership. So if you are interested about getting a membership, now is the time to get one with a discount. So consider becoming a paid subscriber to support my type of work. Your paid subscription makes my content free for everyone. And for paid subscribers, we do have special recordings and special events and special interviews just for you guys. So we do try to give you um, what's worth your money for it. If you want logos on keychains, magnets, my friend has a small business printing promotion stuff of all kind. She does it from home. Let me know if you'd like to speak with her. If she can do we'll talk about it. I'll talk to you about it. My only thing is that I don't have a website to sell it out of, and I don't have an online store. So she would have to sell it from her store and do the shipping herself, and then I can get like a certain percentage of that. I'm okay with that. But we can talk about it. Uh, and there's also Greg. I've been talking to a lot of you wanting stickers. I've been talking to Greg. He gave me his email. I just haven't sent him my logo. I should send him my logo actually now. And Greg will be making stickers. He offered to do so. Very nice of him. Ooh, I also got in touch with This Will Hold. I don't know if you heard of this person. I don't know her name, but I know the podcast name or the channel's name. It's called This Will Hold. It's an action is uh, it's an action or group that is numbered 48 in world politics. Honestly, I think people saw that I have been labeled my account as world politics, and all of a sudden they all switched to world politics when they're only talking about U.S. politics. It's kind of like annoying, but it's whatever. Um, like I'm the one talking world politics. I'm not seeing someone else talking world. It's okay. Anyways, I'm not talking about the This Will Hold. I'm talking about other people that just switch their account to world politics, so just they could hit the billboard. But They published a recent article that was a more than 45-minute read. Honestly, it was. I was listening to it while I was cooking, and I made malokhia yesterday. It was so good. It used to be one of the pharaoh's favorite meals. It's old Egyptian ethnic meal called molokhia. So we made molokhia yesterday, but while I was making molokhia, I was listening to This Will Hold, and apparently our 2024 election was stolen by the 1%, by Elon Musk and Trump's closest allies. And I think it would be an interesting conversation. It's interesting that the people that have been shouting stolen election, stolen election, stolen election are the ones who actually stole our election. Or that's what the argument goes like, at least. See if we have any more questions here. I just posted today's morning warcast on my profile. If you were asking about it, it's officially out and about. Every accusation is a confession. Let's see more questions. Also curious how Qatar is seemingly the second mediator alongside Pakistan. Oh, why would you be curious? Qatar has been the mediator between religious Islamic extremist organizations and the West for a long time. They had Hamas there until Israel struck them and killed them, and the United States forced Qatar to kick them out. The the Afghanistan handing over to the Taliban was between the United States and so yes, the Trump administration on February 29, 2020, um, made a landmark agreement that was signed with the Taliban, and it was brokered by Doha. So, the Qataris have been mediators for a long time. They actually have, I don't know if you know this, Qatar pays the world best universities to open their own franchise of that university inside of Qatar. There is Georgetown University, Qatar. I don't know if you know this, where you can go and get your undergraduate and diplomacy, and you get taught by Georgetown professors, and you get the best of education. When I tell you that Gulf states are investing in education, they're not taking it easy. They're not playing small game here and there. No, Habibi. They're playing the real game. They have IT. No. Is it called IT? What is it called? Uh, iTech University, the Texas Tech University. I forgot what it's called. It's there. Some of the most advanced universities in the world have their own franchise in Qatar. So these people have been trained, these people have been educated, these people have been practicing, these people have been in the field doing the work that they're doing. Diplomacy is their thing, that business is their own, uh, you know, secondhand. So you're not talking about anyone. ITT, yes. And we passed the hour mark, or we're getting to the hour mark. They better check the every single election. You know, the elections needs to be investigated. Yes. Let's see. We probably can do something about that, even for design. She may have great ideas. I just wasn't sure why it wasn't Oman or the UAE. So UAE is too close to Israel, and UAE relations with the Iranians isn't too hot at the moment, especially with how hawkish the UAE is. And then you have Oman that the Trump administration apparently don't trust anymore. And the United States is quite pissed off with the Omanis, especially that they're going to be accepting the joint control over the Strait of Hormuz with the Omanis. So because of those two combinations, the best one out of those nations is the Qataris. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, Qatar, 1/4 of Qatar used to be an Air Force base. You can drive from the north of it to the south of it with maybe an hour with traffic. Um, they understood how important it is for them to be a very powerful country. So they created Al Jazeera to control the world narrative on the news. And that had a huge effect on journalism, in fact, on the global stage and in the Middle East. Majority of the Osama bin Laden interviews were done by Al Jazeera. Majority of the Osama bin Laden videos were delivered to Al Jazeera. Majority of, if not all, Hamas videos were delivered to Al Jazeera. These motherfuckers have their hands everywhere, and they hire people from inside these countries rather than sending their own journalists there. So you'll have Palestinian journalists inside Palestine. You'll have Saudi journalists inside Saudi Arabia. You'll have American journalists inside the United States. You'll have British journalists inside the UK. And each of them is reporting the news from within inside that country. They're taking advantage of having journalists from all across the world and their corporation and their training facilities. You can even go and apply for a training at Al Jazeera. You can go online and request to go to Al Jazeera um, media training, and you can go to Qatar and get access to some of their training. I got some of Al Jazeera journalism training from them, and I got a certificate in journalism from them. I lost that certificate though. I'm kind of butthurt, but doesn't mean that I didn't get it. Don't think that Al Jazeera is not biased though. It is biased. The whole point of Al Jazeera is to give Qatar a more powerful standing. They are biased, yes. They're biased more toward the Muslim Brotherhood. They're more biased toward Sunni Islam. They're more biased toward Qatar, the state of Qatar. If you look at their advertisements, it's all Qatari natural gas or some sort of state of Qatar funding. All of the advertisements in Al Jazeera is state governmental advertisements for their businesses. Oh, that's pretty cool. The radio will talk to you. Invite to join. No, not invite to join. Ronald, send me a message in the thread where the Q&A is at, and I'll reach out to you and talk. I definitely support unions. The only reason I'm currently working with this company that I have at the moment is that they do the designs if I pay them to. They do the setup for the products. They do the product placement on an online store, and they do the shipping, and then I just get a portion of the sale. But as this grows, it's nice to build that connection with other people. And if people have that infrastructure to help me set up, it's even better. I mean, I wouldn't be able to have time to pack boxes, put the labels, ship them off myself, and also do the research and the writing and do these interviews. It would be too much work. So we'll be looking at. You know, shit is expensive these days. What other questions do I have here? Thank you for honoring Mr. Johnson, Sergeant Johnson. Uh, these stories have only been kept alive by the Black community, but we all need to hear it, learn it, and make it part of our family memory to pass on. After I became a refounding father for one of the chapters of Pi Kappa Phi at Kansas State University and started learning about different types of fraternities and learned that there are like historical black universities and learned about historical black fraternities. I genuinely wish that I joined a historical black fraternity than if I wished I joined a Pi Kappa Phi fraternity. Just because of all the history that goes into it and the meaning and the stories that get passed on. Uh, the black fraternities are different. Black fraternities and black universities, they have different standards. And the standard is everyone believes that you suck. So you got to be better than everyone 100%. You got to show up 100% and you got to give it 100% every time. And when you talk to them and when you see the dedication that they have, it gives you a different perspective. It gives you an understanding that these people have been oppressed for 100 years more, been moved across the world, and they didn't get their rights because people decided to give it to them. They got their rights because they fought for it, and they understand that they wouldn't be at the stage that they would be in if they didn't fight tooth and nail to, get that, uh like, to deserve whatever they had. Well, it's different, and I have a high appreciation for that. Sounds like we come to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for everyone that's asked a question. I need to go and talk to this designer about my new design. I'm not happy with it. And I'll get back to you guys tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and share. And as always, ma salama, bye bye. Goodbye. Y'all have a good one.